Welcome back to another episode of World Numismatic Finds, and today we are diving into top 4 rare UK coins currently surfacing in junk drawers, old inherited tins and mixed bag rolls, and shockingly still being overlooked by most collectors nationwide. These small humble coins. 10 pence 1997 with scratches, the post-war 1 shilling 1948 lion standing on the crown with light rusty tone, the 20 pence 1990 with dirty circulation stains, and the 1 penny 1987 chain portrait with outdated condition, are now slowly turning into extremely greedy opportunities for UK collectors who actually understand condition contrast, survival rarity, and silent buyer demand. These are the type of raw pocket piece finds that are now quietly shifting into powerful flips, micro profit boosters, and sleeper numismatic winners across the modern British market. Let's begin with this particular 10 pence coin struck in 1997. Even if it carries scratches, circulation scars and handling marks, is now quietly becoming one of those under-discussed sleepers for the UK audience because this generation of 90s circulation 10 pence coins were minted in a different energy of Britain than today. When we think about this coin today, people forget this is still a Queen Elizabeth II direct currency history piece from the time when the UK economy was transitioning its modern financial identity. For YouTube UK coin collectors, this coin is still time capsule metal, still extremely inexpensive in the 90s, but today turning into one of those extremely shocking coins that start waking up and entering high demand because people didn't protect them, people didn't store them, and now scratch pieces surviving in the real world genuinely tell the story of real usage, real shops, real cash movement, real British cultural track record. This 1997 10 pence is a bold reminder that sometimes the real money is hiding in the simple circulating denominations the world forgot to look at early enough. The background of this piece gives it another strange early advantage. 1997 was the period where British coinage was still built with identity of national symbols with direct, clear, powerful heraldic presence, and the 10 pence from that era was not yet changed into the modern reduced format version. So this coin still gives representation of old UK design language. The obverse head shows Queen Elizabeth II in her mature 1990s portrait, capturing the authority and stability of a long-standing monarch. The reverse tail features the English lion, an emblem that is not just a design, but it is pure cultural power iconography integrated into UK metal history that links back centuries of strength, defense, monarchy, military, empire, and resilience. The weight of this coin remains around the 6.5 grams region, which makes it still feel like real money, proper metal mass, old British circulated weight that modern younger circulation cannot replicate anymore. This is why collectors internationally quietly grab these older larger tens before others fully wake up. The key facts that now drive interest is the combination of vintage 90s era, old size format pre-2008 shrink down era, and the condition factor where even scratched and circulation wear coins are now not being punished in the same way as other series because the survival curve is going down, especially internationally. This is now building a special collecting category where imperfect survivor versions are being chased as story carriers. The rarity is not necessarily in mintage alone. The rarity is in surviving nice honest old circulated pieces that still exist physically today, and this is why the 1997 10 pence is entering positive momentum, and this is why demand is rising faster than many beginners expected a couple years ago. Current market values today in dollars for common circulated scratch survivor examples can be found around $1,000 to $3,000 range depending on seller, photo clarity, demand surge moments and buyer location, but when demand spikes, when trend videos hit, when TikTok numismatic shorts go viral, these same pieces sometimes sell $500 to $1,500 and occasionally higher if someone wants fast fulfillment or wants to complete specific date run instantly. So this coin under YouTube demand format is completely capable of shock upside because this is exactly how modern coin markets move now. Collectors who are smart should be cherry picking, but not throw away scratched ones assuming they are worthless. Put them in flips, keep them dry, store them organized, because this date range will eventually be very expensive to replace later when the nostalgia cycle fully activates and when the big UK numismatic channels begin focusing on pre-shrunk 10 pence runs seriously. The conclusion is that the 1997 UK 10 pence, even with scratches, is now actively becoming a coin of extremely underrated potential value, extremely collectible. Extremely aggressive upside energy for UK coin YouTube era, and this is exactly the type of coin that becomes profitable quietly while most of the world is distracted looking for big obvious rarities, and they end up missing the coins that eventually shock the market the hardest. Next up, the outside may look like just 1 shilling 1948 and even worse. It is showing a little rust, but this is the exact kind of coin that quietly dominates the modern UK and worldwide small denomination collectors market because of the post-war scarcity factor, the personal tie to Britain rebuilding era after WW2. And the unmistakable lion standing proud on the royal crown, which is one of the most visually symbolic and emotionally powerful reverse designs ever used on UK circulated currency. So before anyone throws away or ignores a 1948 1 shilling, especially with this brass nickel age wear and this rusty tone on the surface, you need to understand why the specialist collectors today snap these aggressively and why these very coins go from look destroyed to actually becoming surprisingly strong dollar earners in the American market. The background of this coin itself already makes this coin a special study coin. 1948 is the year Britain was still economically and structurally adjusting after the Second World War. Coins remained very practical national power tools. Metals were still controlled. People still saved everything. Everyday pocket change held national morale. This 1 shilling was minted in that recovery climate. That is why the lion on crown reverse has a deeper symbolic intensity. It is not only national heraldry, it is actual post-war confidence and defiance and authority. This is why modern collectors romanticize this coin so much more than later 1950s British denominations. The head side contains the portrait of King George VI, which is a classic portrait style, the last monarch portrait before the switch to Queen Elizabeth II. So this coin stands between war aftermath and pre-Elizabeth modern Britain transition. That transitional dual-era identity is exactly what pushes demand now. Culturally and historically, this coin holds massive narrative leverage. This is a coin that actually lived the British rationing decade, lived the rebuild decade, lived the era where British foreign policy and British currency signature began forming the base of what became modern UK economic identity. This is why content creators, museum interpreters, Commonwealth collectors, history channels, militaria buyers, British identity hobbyists and post-war era niche coin groups in America and Canada also buy these coins even when they are not perfect. They buy story coins. And this is one of the strongest story coins. Its weight is officially around 5.65 grams, which makes the coin nice in hand, not too heavy, not too light, and this weight consistency actually helps grading and authenticity checking in today's collector environment. Key facts also include that this is a denomination that died. The shilling is gone. It does not exist in circulation. It is extinct currency in real-world exchange. But Collector World resurrected it, and now it is one of the coin categories trending heavily on TikTok, numismatic reels, pawn shop shows, UK finds channels and US thrifting channels. Rarity with rusted or lightly rust condition is counterintuitively interesting because collectors today often want coins that visually show real survival age. Not artificially polished. Not modern shiny wipe. So this coin in little rusty tone actually fits today's authentic survival category. It becomes evidence of era, not shop cleaned and ruined. This is why demand is high. For today's dollar market value, this coin in lightly rusty honest circulated condition can comfortably trade between around $300 up to $1,500 depending on photography, content exposure, listing platform, demand week, country buyer, and sales timing. And special eye-appealing pieces with nicely aged crown and lion detail sometimes spike to $1,900 to $2,500 when a collector wants that exact piece. So this is not junk. This is reactive market coin with content multiplier potential. Collectors who get serious and professional with these shillings try to store them stable in dry holders, avoid further oxidization and do not machine clean them. If you want future upward hold, preserve. And always understand that coins like this do not get cheaper over time because supply disappears through scrapping, loss, hoarding and foreign melt disposal. Post-war coins are becoming next big long-run winners. So if you own a 1948 1 shilling with little rust, you are sitting on small steady slow compounding asset that future numismatic growth could amplify. Keep it safe. Keep it documented. Because in modern UK and US collector circles, this is becoming one of the sleeper coins of the post-war British series that people ignored for years, and now are suddenly chasing hard. Next up, the UK 20 pence coin from the year 1990. Now in today's climate, in today's new numismatic media culture, especially after the boom in micro-condition grading and micro-toning grading, this coin has become one of those slow silent sleepers that is now rising in demand. Even in dirty condition, even in low cabin drawer condition, even in circulated kitchen jar condition, collectors today are sniffing these out because early Queen Elizabeth II small denomination closed-date coins are entering the long-term accumulation phase, and collectors who understand the importance of 1990s transitional era UK decimal are now treating these like gold seeds for the later decade. The background of this piece is deeply British, deeply cultural and deeply historic because this coin is part of that first major wave that truly settled the decimal system into the habits and psychology of the UK public. 20p from 1990 was the era where the next generation of children, teenagers, working-class weekly wage earners and everyday supermarket pocket change users all finally fully normalized this denomination. This is post-IRA, post-Thatcher turbulence, entering John Major era stability. These coins carry real story energy. They are that era. They are not just metal. They are lived UK reality. When you turn this coin around and examine the portrait side, the head side shows Queen Elizabeth II in the second portrait by Raphael Macluf, which is one of the most artistically loved profiles she ever had. Collectors today deeply value this portrait because this was where she looked extremely youthful still and yet extremely regal at the same time. The reverse side shows the Crown Tudor rose, which is in itself extremely symbolic and extremely deep-rooted to English history because this is one of the most iconic national identity symbols the UK has produced for centuries, and this rose design makes this 20 pence coin extremely British and extremely recognisable in global numismatics today. The weight of the 1990 20p coin is 5 grams and struck in cupronickel, which means the metal ages and reacts and tones differently than bronze and copper types. So when you have dirty condition, this is not a death penalty on value. In fact, dirty condition sometimes creates specific unique toning phases which are today becoming a desirable look for certain collectors. Many collectors today want natural earth-aged coins rather than polished and artificially cleaned coins because the natural oxidation shows authentic passage of time and real-life usage. Key facts on this coin are that circulation numbers were strong, so raw mint survival is not rare. However, excellent condition or unique aging or strong natural dirt trapped aesthetic are now becoming the rare hunt. Early 90s pieces with original street life look are winning demand because they represent authentic UK spending history. This is why dirty condition today is not a weakness, but in many niche buyers' eyes, a strength. Rarity today is increasing because heavy circulation means a lot of these were damaged, bent, lost, thrown away, and destroyed through bank reprocessing. So surviving ones, even in dirty used condition, are now tightening supply on the collector market week by week. And because people today are hunting 80s and 90s silly sleepers, the demand curve is positive and rising silently without the mainstream noticing. Today's collector market price in dollars for a normal circulated dirty condition 1990 20p can be anywhere from $700 to $900 depending on the specific visual appeal and specific aging look. Better dirty toning visual pieces can quietly and easily touch $800 to $1,200 to specialist buyers who like raw uncleaned authenticity coins. If this coin grades high or is extremely visually unique, certain listings can spike higher, and in the next 2 to 4 years this era is expected to rise further because this is entering the vintage nostalgia era. Collectors today should store, protect, and never over-clean these coins. Preserve the natural dirt, preserve the natural patina because this is the new future demand. Keep them stored in non-PVC safe flips and look out for sharp details, because even dirty coins with sharp crown points or sharp Tudor rose elements will win future resale demand. This coin is now one of those micro-category British decimal coins that is rising silently but powerfully in the collector ecosystem. So if you find a 1990 20 pence coin in dirty condition, right now in this year, do not think this is worthless random junk change. This is the type of coin that quietly becomes valuable later when everyone finally realizes how few authentic circulated survivors are left. Preserve it, respect it, and keep it. This decade is the decade where these small denomination British sleepers will become the new profit elite class in future numismatic trading. Next up, 1 penny coin of 1987 with the famous chain-link portrait era is now becoming a fascinating little giant in the world of subtle numismatic escalation and slow but extremely real return momentum. Even in an outdated circulation-worn form, it is now one of those sleeper UK small denomination coins that earlier everyone ignored, everyone threw in jars, everyone scrapped, everyone left in drawers. But now digital collectors, UK TikTok coin hunters, and global American buyers are treating as micro-historical British profit snapshots. This 1987 penny is from that period where UK copper was still real copper alloy before hyper-modern minimalist penny-striking behavior started. And that is why channels and collectors call this time frame the golden undervalued penny cycle years. This one is now getting hype again, getting recycled back into relevance, and this is why 1987 has started to get its own specific micro-niche cult collector following. The background of this coin was the transitional cultural feel of late Cold War Britain, Thatcher-era economic ideological shift, new British modern identity, new media boom, new finance class, old royal historic symbolism still untouched. The obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II here is still the Macluf-style portrait with flowing hair and chain design, and this chain portrait variation remains extremely aesthetically unique. It is extremely easy to forget how much symbolism this chain locking style represented in British numismatic design. The reverse side with the crown portcullis is Britain messaging royal authority, the heritage of state, the crown institution that even in smallest coin tells Britain is structured, fortified, and symbolically guarded. This is why UK penny iconography has always been academically studied by foreign culture researchers, because Britain is one of the only nations where a 1-cent coin carries heavy institutional semiotics. Collectors particularly like this because it represents an era where pennies were still universal money, still meaningful small money, still actual shop purchasing force. The weight of this coin in original specification is 3.56 grams copper plated steel after shift, but the copper-heavy era presentation visually is still what gives older pennies character, especially when outdated condition tone sets in. These coins oxidize extremely beautifully. The outdated form actually helps establish legitimate circulation story value. The buying psychology in rare coin culture now is shifting to authenticity marks, not perfection marks. Key facts that cause price drift pressure upwards on this 1987 penny are the combination of a globally recognized monarch portrait year, connection to pre-decimal nostalgia neo-revival collectors, and US-Canadian collectors now aggressively farming UK cheap raw coinage because YouTube Shorts channels keep showing UK pennies quietly erupting suddenly. The rarity is not mint rarity, it is condition rarity that is natural. Mint state is boring. Outdated raw condition with natural age and natural time scars is now the premium trend because that shows real-life British monetary root narrative. So outdated condition actually now boosts desirability, not weakens it. This is why collector demand is refocusing back on the low-denomination British penny field. These coins are starting to be looked at as early growth phase assets, not heavy-tested matured markets. In today's market environment, especially in the US Flipsphere and US Facebook coin groups, this 1987 outdated condition penny can comfortably move between $200 to $1,500 depending on character toning and visual strength of portrait and chain boundary detail. TikTok UK coin hunters are pushing this year as a rising sleeper coin year, so further price lift is expected. For collectors who want to make smart future long accumulation decisions, keep these pennies protected, avoid aggressive cleaning, avoid polished look, keep the natural outdated tone. That is what gives it organic price narrative. British pennies are now in slow controlled bull phase. This 1987 chain portrait penny is a very friendly entry-level British coin to hold and flip later in next run cycle. And this is why numismatic content creators are recommending to start stacking them in small trays properly. So in conclusion, this coin is one of those pieces that looks ordinary, feels ordinary, but is quietly becoming powerful little micro British heritage asset with future upside potential. The outdated condition is not a problem. It is now actually part of its charm, it is part of its proof of life, and it is part of the reason it will keep moving higher as more UK YouTube channels begin to spotlight penny era pieces. This 1987 chain portrait penny is not just a small copper coin, it is now a micro story of the United Kingdom frozen in metal and quietly rising in value one short video at a time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned to World Numismatic Finds for more rare and valuable coin discoveries from around the world.